There's a lot of topics I make on this channel that I do not care about. Honestly, do you care? Probably not. Today, I get to talk about one of my favorite music artists of all time. The bad news is it's not in the best light. So Young Lean, aka Jonathan Lindua Hastad, hence the name, you know, Young Lean, Lindua. So he's a rapper and most importantly known for being one of the biggest influences in modern rap culture. I think he is the sole reason that terms like emo rap, cloud rap started appearing on Tumblr like well over 10 years ago. He even capitalized years ago on vaporwave. You might remember the outro music I used to use on this channel like well over like 5, 6, 7 years ago, the Whitewoods Beach Walk. That is vaporwave, and Lean actually capitalized on vaporwave by making his own song that was basically the song to put him on the map, Ginseng Strip. Now, if you look at the music video to Ginseng Strip, you think, what the hell is going on here? This is just some like garbage green screen. It looks like an off-brand MLG video. And then on top of that as well, he had his debut mixtape, which was Unknown Death 2002. And I know this sounds really sad, but I remember like when he was first going on tour in the UK, I think he was touring on Unknown Death. I remember just like sitting there, listening to the song, trying to remember the lyrics. So if I saw this guy live, I'd actually know like the lyrics to the song because everyone at my school was basically just binging Young Lean and I didn't want to feel like the kid that was left out. Now, obviously, Lean does collabs with loads of other people, like, for example, Sad Boys, White Armor, Young Sherman, Young Good. And who could forget the collabs with legendary Drain Gang members, Blady and Echo 2K. If you don't know the names of like any of the people I'm mentioning right now, basically, I just want to get it across. I'm that much of a fanboy that the Darkwood video, the next main channel video that's coming out, that is going to feature an intro song from Echo 2K. We got the rights to one of the songs. Now, Young Lean has always been a bit of a weird one because he's not mainstream. He's not like Drake mainstream, but still everyone knows who he is. And obviously he's had like massive influence on people like Travis Scott, Lil Uzi, Tentacion. There's loads of people who have taken inspiration from Lean, or Lean has indirectly inspired them. I mean, a good example is Lil Uzi going on an Aiden Ross stream. Hear me out. Hear me out. It's not as bad as it sounds. And he basically goes on to say that like everyone knows who Lean is, but he doesn't actually have as much respect as he deserves.
I gotta go on Young Lean.
Now, Young Lean, that was a required taste. See, I like Young Lean. Everybody respects Young Lean that listens to Young Lean. If you don't respect Young Lean, then that means that you don't listen to Young Lean. You get what I'm saying?
Also, a little side note with Lil Uzi. If I type in Lil Uzi onto TikTok, it comes up with him dressed up in a fursuit. Can someone confirm in the comments if this is real, please? One thing that I really respect Lean for is if you listen to his initial music that made him famous, the music he makes now is pretty much entirely different in like melody, in tone, because he's not really someone that cares about chasing trends, more just making music that makes him happy. Oh, Jesus, I could just tell I'm going to get called such a meat rider for this video, man. Parasitical when something in Sweden is mentioned. I've even seen some people make comparisons to Young Lean, basically saying he's like Chappelle Roan, but for, you know, your favorite rapper. Now, on the outside, a lot of people that listen to Young Lean, they think, oh, why does he speak so slow? Is he sad? Is something wrong with him? Oh, this sucks. There's no shouty music here. I'm leaving. But another thing about Lean is him using his music to communicate mental health and also to relate to a lot of things that he has been through personally, like a lot of artists do. Like his stage name is a double entender because it's Lean, like his surname Lindua, then also the fact that he enjoys lean like a lot of rappers do. Obviously, him and all of his friends do have a history and background of like partying hard, using drugs. Now, I do want to be careful what I say here because I know that Lean has like gone on an interview and personally said himself like he is not an addict and he's never been an addict.
First of all, I don't think I've ever been a drug addict. I wouldn't call it that. It's always like something I said in an interview gets twisted. I've had problems, you know, but mainly it's, you know, just my psyche and stuff like that. I've learned from everything, you know.
Now, back in 2015, he experimented with a lot of drugs like most rappers do when they're up and coming, you know, lean, coke, weed, Xanax. But what also would happen is he would slip into a dark place. And it is reported that he'd do things like dress up as a nurse, walk around with a knife, and he'd even write a book that was like recalling dark events of his childhood. And slowly he started to become, you know, more detached from reality. So much so that he actually ended up overdosing while recording Warlord, which was an album in Miami. He also had a friend that passed away, Baron Machat. And because of all of these events happening so quickly, he ended up in a mental hospital. And a lot of people genuinely thought, like, is this the end of his career? Like, is he ever going to be able to do any kind of music again? But he actually said himself that he felt, you know, comfortable, like this was a second chance for him, you know, to create more emotional music and not not feel as disposable, you know, as like a lot of people online claim that he sounds like. There's actually a really good documentary online called Young Lean in My Head, and it basically goes over all of this, you know, all the trauma and stuff he went through, and how, you know, he went to a mental hospital for a while, and then he basically just took up painting. He even started a side project called Jonathan Lean Doer, which is like more kind of like personalized music. It was like kind of an off-brand account to Young Lean. But I'm happy to say now that after all of that, years and years later, Young Lean really is, he's doing better than ever. Like, for example, his recent album, Psychos, he even appeared on a remix of Charlie XCX, who's another artist that like isn't mainstream. She's like just, you know, just about, I guess if like Taylor Swift is like A tier mainstream, these people are like B and C tier A stream. I know how bad that sounds, and I'm not saying that Taylor Swift is above these people, except in terms of like popularity, because unfortunately, if you got like a 12-year-old kid or like sibling, chances are they are going to listen to Taylor Swift instead of Charlie XCX or Young Lean. And what's even better, Young Lean is actually on tour this year, and that's the reason why I'm making this video, because it is really infuriating. Now, at the minute, Young Lean isn't actually on tour on his own. He's on tour with Travis Scott. This is for the European tour of Travis Scott's Circus Maximus tour. This is basically to support Travis Scott's album Utopia, not the Yellow Killing Show. That the album is called Utopia. Now, Lean and Travis have been friends and worked together on music for ages. I mean, on the Utopia track, Parasil, Lean actually made a cameo on there, but they go all the way back to like, I think Young Lean did an album called Unknown Memory, and in that album is a song called Ghost Town, which Travis Scott actually had a feature in. Now, Unknown Memory did really well, got like a lot of mainstream appeal, and obviously Travis Scott was in it. So, you know, for Travis Scott to have Young Lean as the opener for his concerts, seems like a no-brainer. Well, unfortunately, that is the main reason why I'm making this video, because I have seen online the reception that Lean is getting to being an opener to Travis's concerts, and it is awful. Now, the thing is with a lot of Travis fans, they are like new gen, like they probably don't even know who Young Lean is because they weren't like even born when he was like doing music. And then there's also people that genuinely just don't like vibe with his music, because to be fair, Lean's music is incredibly different to Travis's. That's totally fine. But I've been seeing videos from like the London tour, and they're being so aggressive to Lean for basically no reason. If you don't enjoy the music, okay, just, I don't know, like pretend to humble the guy, maybe just like bob your head up and down a little bit. I mean, there's one point where the Travis fanboys are booing him so much that he basically stops and actually has to take a minute to like collect himself. And when he does perform, people just seem bored, completely uninterested. One guy even doing the classic Subway Surfers bit of, you know, playing Subway Surfers when someone's, you know, performing at a concert. I kind of don't mind the TikTok Subway Surfer thing. Like if it was just that, and that was like the most offensive someone had been during the entire concert, I wouldn't be making this video and I wouldn't care, because it's just a common gag that basically everyone does at any concert. But then someone posted a video of another angle, and it just shows like how small the crowd was of people that actually enjoyed his set. Now, that clip actually seems good, to be fair, because you got the people down at the front in general admission, and they're like actually vibing with the song. No, they were completely mocking him. They were basically jumping up and down to make fun of him. And then they started doing chants of like, what do you think of Tottenham? And the worst thing about all of it is like when he tries to do an old song like Ghost Town, one of the songs that literally put Travis on the map, people have no idea what the song is, and they're just acting like total NPCs. Again, I know I sound like a PC Master Race poster here. Like, you know, I get it. I get all the lyricism. You don't. I'm better than you. And again, if you genuinely don't enjoy Lean's music, that's totally fine. But I think we can all agree it goes too far when people basically start doing what they did with Ice Show Speed, where he was like in Norway and started throwing bottles at him.
You shouldn't have thrown it. Mate, you gotta go with
I will never understand that, how people can go to concerts and just be like a complete React Andy, like throwing bottles at people and stuff. I mean, if anything, it reminds me of a time that I went to see Death Grips in Brixton like 3-4 years ago now. And to be fair, preface to this story, I was in Brixton in London, not known to be like the most safe area. I remember just standing with the crowd, and there was a guy that was just like his face. I'm like, I don't know what it was, like Spice or something. And this was like before the pre-show had even started, and you could tell that the guy was just walking around like looking for a fight, like not even looking to start a mosh pit. He genuinely just wanted to beat someone up. Like if you go to a concert or something and you're like drunk and that, like that's great, it's a vibe. But like, yeah, if you're getting absolutely plastered on like probably class A looking for a fight. Like, I don't think the concert's gonna help. I think one of the funniest things about that clip I just shown of the guy being thrown at the Travis concert, he probably threw the bottle because he was angry that Young Lean was there and Travis wasn't. But by throwing the bottle, he basically got kicked out of the venue before Travis even shown up. And while I'm on the topic of people just being like completely disrespectful to artists during concerts, I mean, Young Lean is such a small example of that. I mean, a good example is Flo Milli on the Gunna's recent Bittersweet tour, and someone threw stuff at her on stage during the Ohio show. I was about to say only in Ohio, but then I realized that the joke died like 2 years ago. Now, obviously, she was like extremely upset by this and then ended up, you know, walking off stage, even dropping the mic and screaming at the crowd.
Bitch, when I fucking catch you home, I swear to fucking God.
Now, she did eventually come out to perform, but obviously not before like molding on Twitter. Thankfully, not only receiving support from like her fans, but Gunna and even Ari Lennox. It actually seems to be a really common thing that happens when like a man is performing, but the opener is a woman. I mean, this has happened with other people like Ari, Rico Nasty, Glorilla, Lato, and even SZA, you know, during her own headliner show. I mean, I did just mention a personal story from Death Grips. I've seen them a couple of times now, but they actually had a show in Arkansas like 9 months ago, and they walked off the stage because like fans have been so disrespectful. Thought it'd be like a funny Twitch moment to like, you know, throw glow sticks at them and stuff. And I get it, like Death Grips music, it's grungy, the mosh pits are insane, but you do kind of also have to respect that they're an artist. Like, you know, if you want to be in a mosh pit and get bruises and stuff, that's totally fine, but that then doesn't give you the right to start throwing stuff at the actual people that are making the music, the reason why you're there. And they just walk off, like the entire team just leaves. I'll be honest, I've seen Death Grips 3 times, twice in the UK and once in Poland. I don't know what it is with Poland, but they seem to be some of the nicest people imaginable. I even remember when like iShowSpeed was doing he was doing like an IRL stream in Poland, and he just kept saying W Poland, because I don't know why, but Polish people are so respectful.
See, chat, this is what I like about Poland. They're crazy, but they're like, they don't do stupid shit.
I think one of the funny things about that Death Grips clip as well, when Stefan MC Ride, when he walks off stage for the first time, that's like a warning, like don't do it again. And then they just keep doing it, so they cancel the entire show. And who could forget the time that Cardi B had an entire drink thrown at her when she was performing in Las Vegas? But the funny thing is with Cardi B, like when that actually happened to her, instead of walking off stage, she just ended up trying to throw the mic at whoever threw the thing at her in the first place. Now, I've seen a lot of people basically say that the crowds now during concerts have got even worse, and a popular game theory behind it is because of COVID, everyone was, you know, stuck indoors. I mean, that was COVID, like that was a weird time to be alive in, mostly because it made so many people famous that probably never would have had anywhere near the amount of pull that they would have had. I mean, like I said, you had the whole Minecraft YouTuber scene, Tommy in it, Rambo, Jack Manifold, very talented people, but without lockdown and all the kids being inside, they never would have got anywhere near the amount of clout that they have now. And I think another thing because of COVID, because everyone was locked indoors, they didn't learn like any kind of like proper etiquette for concerts, you know, because so many people during COVID, what were they doing? They weren't outside doing football. They were probably just sat inside on Discord watching YouTube videos, playing, I don't know, Roblox weather survival. And because they weren't building like tangible real life experiences, when they go to a concert, they almost like think, oh, this is the guy I've seen on TikTok, the funny meme man, not kind of realizing that they're like actually real people as well. And also another thing to point out, we're now living in the generation where like everyone wants to become famous. So if you do like a funny clip of you know, playing Subway Surfers at a concert or throwing something at someone, you'll probably get a lot of shit for it. But again, like interaction is good. It's like on a YouTube video. If you liked the video, that's engagement. If you dislike the video, that's engagement. Unironically, a dislike on a YouTube video is probably better than if you just didn't engage with it at all. And I think that's one of the reasons why people were so disrespectful to Lean during the concert, because there's a difference between not enjoying the music, not vibing with it, and then just being like downright abusive. Because Travis Scott's fan base, anyone that's like, you know, once you reach that level of just being like absolutely viral, that like most people on the planet know who you are, what's the average age of your fan base? They're probably going to be little kids. And I know that that's like a roast that everyone uses, you know, it's like iShowSpeed. It's like, oh, look, our oldest iShowSpeed fan is 9 years old. But like kids have the most amount of spare time because they have no responsibilities. They've got no part-time job to hold down. They've got no college to do, no uni to do, no family to raise. I remember as a kid, my biggest concern was, would I be able to get my mom's credit card and use it to buy the orange box? And because of like so many people in Travis's fan base being so young and probably growing up during COVID, they have no idea who Lean is. Now, there is a silver lining to this story. After they left their tour in London, unsurprisingly, it got a lot better. Recently, there's been some clips popping up of Lean in Manchester doing his opening set, and people just seem to love it. I've also seen a lot of old heads in the comments basically saying Travis wouldn't exist without young Lean, and by saying that, they're basically self-reporting that they're pushing 30, but it's just one of those. Like if you don't enjoy the music, that's fine, but at least be, you know, brave statement incoming. Just try and be respectful to the artist.